Hey, I'm Aubrey, and it's finally summer. Okay, it's been summer for quite a long time now, but I'm just now catching up. Now, I have been working on a larger project for this channel over the last couple of months, but because it's taking a little bit longer than expected, I didn't want to leave you guys hanging for too long without a new video. So today I'm going to be attempting my first ever tutorial on how I crafted this super fun, super great for summer crocheted ice cream koozie. In the last year or so, we've used these quite a bit and they are fantastic. I love sitting in front of the TV eating a pint of ice cream, and when I use these bad boys, my fingers don't freeze off. Now, this is a project that I crafted a couple of years ago, and at the time I hadn't written anything down. I just kind of made it up as I went, which is usually how I handle my crochet and knitting projects. So recently I decided to sit down, recraft it and refine it, and now I finally have a wonderful, super structured pattern that I get to share with all of you. If you would like to make one of these for yourself, I do have the pattern linked completely free down below in the description of this video. It will include everything from the gauge, the materials used, the final measurement, step-by-step instructions, and any additional information that you'll need that I may not cover in full in this video. And if you do end up making this using my pattern, please send me photos of your final product. I would love to see this pattern being used all over the place. And with all of that said, let's get to the fun part. The materials I'm using for this project include my trusty crochet hook from the brand Clover, and I'll be using the 4mm hook, also known as the US size G. If you couldn't tell by how beat up this label is, I'm using my favorite brand of yarn, the 24/7 cotton in the color Ecru. This is a size 4 medium weight yarn made of 100% mercerized cotton. Additional tools you may need are a pair of scissors and a yarn sewing needle. Before starting this project for yourself, this would be a great time to pause and check out the gauge in the pattern below to ensure that your yarn and hook size will match closely to what is needed. To begin row 1, I am starting out with a magic circle. There are several techniques to achieving a magic circle. If you're unfamiliar with how to start, I have linked a couple of really great videos in the description below that will walk you through the first step more in depth if needed. I like to take a moment to sort out my strands before moving on to make sure nothing gets tangled. In the magic circle, I am chaining 1 and then single crocheting 8 stitches. And before you say anything about the way that I hold the yarn tension with my left index finger, just know that I've been using this form since I learned how to crochet as a child, and I'm working on finding an alternative form that I like to break this bad habit. Just an FYI to not copy me because your index finger will start to hurt halfway through. You'll see me stopping fairly often as I work to double check my stitch count. After I have 8 single crochets, I will take my hook out, grab the short end of my yarn, and pull it closed, making sure that the crochets are lying flat and not curling or twisting around each other. Then insert the hook back into the piece and slip stitch into the very first stitch that we made of our 8. If you're in doubt about where the first stitch is, count your stitches again, preferably backwards, and slip stitch into stitch number 1. In row 2, we will be increasing our stitches to keep the circle flat. Start by chaining 1. In the first stitch, single crochet 1. In the next stitch, we'll single crochet 1 again, but then in that same stitch, single crochet a second stitch. This is referred to as an increase by 1. I will be using this terminology throughout the pattern, so just know if I say increase or increase by 1, that means 2 of the same type of crochet into 1 stitch. We will repeat this pattern 3 more times. 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 2 single crochets in the next stitch, until we reach the end of our round. In total, row 2 should have 12 stitches. In the row with a slip stitch to join to the first stitch. Rows 3 and 4 follow the same pattern as row 2. Therefore, I finished both of these off camera. You'll start by chaining 1, single crochet in the first stitch, and increase by 1 in the next stitch all the way around. End the row with a slip stitch. The final stitch count for row 3 should be 18 stitches, and the final stitch count for row 4 will be 27 stitches. In row 5, we will change the increase pattern slightly. Start with chaining 1. In the first stitch, increase by 1. Then single crochet in the second and third stitches. This pattern will be repeated a total of 9 times all the way around. At the end, slip stitch into your first stitch. The total stitch count for row 5 will be 36 stitches. At this point, the tail from the magic circle is usually starting to annoy me, so let's take a minute to weave it into our piece. I'm using my metal yarn needle here. If you don't have a needle, you can also use a smaller size crochet hook to pull the yarn through. I like to follow the direction of the spiral and start by working around the middle. It's very important to keep the needle parallel to the piece to ensure you're sewing within the middle of your crocheted stitches and not weaving from front to back, making the sewn stitches visible. Keep your stitches small and try not to skip too large of sections between stitches. Keep weaving until you feel like your end is secured within your piece. Once I'm done weaving, I like to give the end a little pull to actually pull it out of the piece slightly. Then I cut the tail off and spread my piece back out, tucking it back to its original shape. This will allow the end to get pulled back into the piece and disappear completely. Okay, back to row 6. Start by chaining 1. Single crochet into the first 5 stitches. In the 6th stitch, increase by 1. Repeat this pattern 5 more times. At the end, slip stitch into your first stitch. And your final stitch count for row 6 will be 42 stitches. We've now completed the bottom of our koozie. From here, we will begin working our way up the sides. We're switching to double crochets for this row, so to start, chain 2. Then we'll double crochet in the first 2 stitches. To make a double crochet, you will yarn over, hook through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We'll be decreasing stitches 3 and 4. To join the 2 stitches, we will yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Then from here, yarn over and insert our hook through the second stitch. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all remaining 3. And congratulations, you've decreased your stitches by 1. Repeat this pattern 8 more times. After repeating this pattern 9 times in total, we will be left with 6 more stitches on this row. I have started the pattern for a 10th time with double crocheting in the next 2 stitches. And if we follow the pattern again, we would be combining the following 2 stitches. But since I want this row to end with an odd number of stitches in total, I am going to skip the decrease and instead double crochet into each remaining stitch until I reach the end of the row. Finish this row by slip stitching into your first stitch. The total stitch count for row 7 should be 33 stitches. Begin row 8 by chaining 1. We will be doing what is called a front post and back post double crochet from here on out. All that means is that instead of inserting your hook into the very top V stitch, you will instead insert your hook around the post of the below stitch to make the double crochet. Now, very important to note here, the combined stitches of row 7 will act as one post. So make sure you are inserting your hook around both and making only one double crochet per pair. Start with 5 front post double crochets. Follow with 1 back post double crochet. Then make 10 front post double crochets. One more back post double crochet, and then repeat that pattern. 10 front post double crochets, followed by 1 back post double crochet. Then finally, 5 front post double crochets to end the row. Slip stitch into the very first stitch to finish. Row 9 is much easier. Start with chaining 1. You don't have to worry in this row about any combined post or increasing or decreasing stitches. You'll just be increasing and decreasing the amount of front and back post crochets. Think of row 8 as the bottom points of an upside down triangle. There are 3 triangles in total, and the back post double crochets are the points. And from here, we want to add more back post double crochets to make our triangles flare out and up. So we'll increase the amount of back post double crochets and decrease the amount of front post double crochets. So we'll start this row instead with 4 front post double crochets. Followed by 3 back post double crochets. then 8 front post double crochets, followed by 3 back post double crochets. And repeat. 8 front double crochets, 3 back post double crochets. In the row with 4 front post double crochets. As always, slip stitch in the end to the first stitch of the row. For row 10, start by chaining 1. Make 3 front post double crochets, followed by 5 back post double crochets. Six front post double crochets, followed by 5 back post double crochets. And then repeat. 6 front post double crochets, followed by 5 back post double crochets. Finish the row with 3 front post double crochets. Slip stitch into the very first stitch. For row 11, start by chaining 1. We'll make 2 front post double crochets, followed by 7 back post double crochets, four more front post double crochets, followed by 7 more back post double crochets, and repeat. 4 front post double crochets, followed by 7 back post double crochets. Finish this row with 2 front post double crochets. And as always, slip stitch into your very first stitch. For row 12, start by chaining 1. We'll do 1 front post double crochet, followed by 9 back post double crochets, and then 2 front post double crochets, followed by 9 back post double crochets, and repeat. 2 front post double crochets, followed by 9 back post double crochets. In this row with 1 front post double crochet. And as always, slip stitch into your very first stitch. Row 13 marks the halfway point. Start with chaining 1, and then the entire row will be back post double crochets all the way around. Finish with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Okay, so we're halfway done with our side rows, and as you can see, our back post crochets form this perfect V shape. What we want to do now is make this shape into a diamond. So all we have to do is repeat all the rows we just did, but in reverse order. So row 14 will be a repeat of row 12, row 15 will be a repeat of row 11, and so on and so forth. I'm going to finish these rows off camera, and I'll be back to show you the finished design. If you need to go back into this video to have a refresher of the rows, do that now. Alright, once you've completed row 18, your koozie should be looking like this. 3 diamonds in total all the way around. Now comes time for my personal favorite part, the finishing edge. I do have an alternate option with a straight edge in my pattern below if you would prefer to not use the ruffle, but as for me, ruffles all day, every day. Ruffles are one of those things that can look really intimidating, but once you do one ruffle, you'll want to ruffle everything. Here's how I do mine. We're not chaining any stitches at the beginning. We want our beginning stitch to be flush with the top of row 18. What you want to do is skip that very first stitch and make 6 double crochets into the second stitch. You'll see how the crochets will naturally want to fan out to either side. This is good, this is what we want. Once those double crochets are done, you'll skip the next stitch and insert your hook into the following stitch and make a slip stitch. And that's it. It's that easy. You'll just repeat these steps 7 more times to make a total of 8 ruffles. Skip the next stitch, 6 double crochets into the following stitch, skip a stitch, slip stitch. That's it. Once you've finished all 8 ruffles, the last thing you'll do is cast off your yarn. Use a yarn needle to sew in your end, and cut off the overhang. Congratulations, you are now the proud new owner of an ice cream koozie. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of video, let me know in the comment section down below. If you'd like to keep up with any future projects or tutorials I'll be posting, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Is that good?